Hi everybody and welcome to Heel Heat. My name is George Coles and this is our Halloween / WWE edition of Heel Heat. Let's jump right into the show. First off, we have John Cena coming out talking about him winning the World Heavyweight Championship at Hell in a Cell, which brings out Damien Sandow, who holds the Money in the Bank briefcase, destroys John Cena, cashes it in. They have a really good match. However, Sandow loses. A lot of people are upset about it. I like the idea of it going forward because it makes the Money in the Bank not a guaranteed win now. It's twice now that we've seen it where it's been cashed in, not won. So I like that aspect. I think that they would have been better served if Randy Orton didn't cash in his. He's already an established star, as opposed to Sandow, who's trying to build up his ranks. All in all, a great match to start off the show. Great way to begin Monday Night Raw, get us coming off of the pay-per-view, leading us right into the U.S. title match, which is next. A rematch from the pay-per-view, Big E Langston versus Dean Ambrose, which ends up in a disqualification when the Shield gets involved. The Uso brothers come out to make the save. Vicky Guerrero comes out, makes it a six-man tag team match with the Shield versus Big E and the Usos. Shield pick up the win. I think it's a much-needed win at this point. They've been losing a lot lately on the pay-per-views and on television. I think this brings them back into the conversation as a dangerous force. Speaking about dangerous forces, we're about to talk about one. Shawn Michaels comes out, talks about why he did what he did at Hell in a Cell, and if you didn't see him, you didn't watch our review. Basically, he super kicked Daniel Bryan, costing him the match, costing him the world title. Bryan comes out, refuses to accept his apology. Shawn Michaels gets upset. Eventually he shakes hands, which leads to Daniel Bryan putting him in the yes lock. Daniel Bryan did something here that I didn't think was possible. He got the fans to boo Shawn Michaels, and that's a feat in itself. This just goes to show you how over Daniel Bryan is, and all the talk of him being buried, it's only going to make him bigger and stronger. Kind of like Obi-Wan Kenobi. If you strike him down, he will become more powerful. They keep striking him down, and every time he becomes more powerful. And that leads us to the backstage segment, where Daniel Bryan gets attacked by Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family. They injure him, they start beating him down, which leads to him being taken out in a stretcher. I think that going forward, it's a great thing for the Wyatt family, for them to move up and become something bigger and better in the wrestling world. I enjoy this. I think that all three of them could be major stars at some point, and really this is the build to showing them as the major force, kind of taken away from the Shield a little bit, maybe, and we've seen a little bit of a precursor of the Shield might be breaking up soon, so it's good to have that heel faction in there ready to go. Speaking of tag teams, we had the Los Matadors versus three-man band in a 3-on-2 match. Los Matadors win. Really sick of this matchup. They've had them face basically every combination of 3MB. I think the Los Matadors should be coming up the card facing other guys. I really enjoyed their match. I thought it was a good match. Just tired of this matchup. I thought their match against the Real Americans on the pay-per-view was really good. I'd like to see them mix it up with some of the other talent in there. I think the tag team division is really going strong right now, and it's only going to steamroll and get better. Another division that we kind of talked about and touched on a little bit last week that needs improvement is the Divas division. We had a Divas tag team match. Tamina and AJ Lee versus the Bella Sisters. Tamina and AJ pick up the win. Brie Bella acts concerned all night because the Wyatt family's attacked on her fiance Daniel Bryan earlier. So they play that up. The Tamina and AJ pick up the win, the modern day Diesel and Shawn Michaels, which leads us into the question of the week for this week. Now, if you watched our show last week, the question was, what can the WWE do, or can they revamp the Divas division like they have with the tag division? Now, we got an answer from one of our friends, Sonic Rules 94. The Divas would have a lot harder time being revitalized, but I think it can be done. Trish and Lita can't be the only two women on earth who could bring great matches. I agree, there's a lot of really great women's wrestlers out there, There's some even on the roster. I mean, AJ Lee is very good. Tamina Snuka is very good. Natalie Neidhart is very good. The Bella sisters are getting better. Oksana is decent, serviceable. Layla is good. Summer Rae, we've seen, is very good, or is looking to be good so far. I think they can build it around that, add a few more people, maybe bring Karma back. Who knows? I mean, the sky's the limit. If they really want to put their time and effort behind it and build this up, I really think it could be an addition to bring more female viewers in, give the female children in the family someone to look up to, and bring more viewers altogether. Which leads us into the question of the week for this week. We've seen the resurgence of Goldust recently. Who would you like to see from that era, or maybe a different era, make a Goldust style return? Let us know what you think. Hit us up on our Facebook, hit us up on Twitter. Put it down where? Down in the comments. Coming off of that, going right back into the show, we had the return of Kane to action. He returned on the pay-per-view, and he was wrestling The Miz. Gets an easy win over The Miz. Calls Stephanie McMahon out to the ring. Stephanie comes out to the ramp, doesn't walk out to the ring, which is pretty smart because everybody knows that Kane is a monster and can do anything to anyone. Stephanie stands there. Basically, he says, "I've seen what you've been doing, and I know it's best for business," and hands her his mask and the wig before he walks off. Pretty powerful visuals with her holding it up. Maybe Kane's going to be the enforcer now for the Authority. Maybe not. I like where it's going. I think it ties in a little bit with that storyline, with the Wyatt family storyline. We've seen him he was abducted by the Wyatts. Maybe it all ties together at some point. Hopefully we will see what happens going forward with that. Now, speaking of the Wyatts, we had our next match was CM Punk versus Ryback in a no disqualification street fight. Punk picks up the win. I think it's officially ending his feud with them. After the match, the Wyatt family come down and destroy CM Punk, much like they did with Daniel Bryan. Bray Wyatt himself says his thing, which he said with Daniel Bryan, the devil made me do it. He says it again, leading to speculation. Is the devil Vince McMahon? Is it Triple H? Is it Undertaker? Is it somebody else? At this point, nobody knows, but this is why we're going to stay tuned to see who it's going to be going forward. Now, coming off of that, we had the Real Americans versus the Rhodes brothers, Cody Rhodes and Goldust. In a non-title match, I thought this was a really good match. The Rhodes brothers, really good team, as well as the Real Americans. I liked what they did with this. I like the Real Americans winning this non-title match, setting up a title match somewhere down the line for them. I see nothing but good coming from this going forward. Now, coming off of that, we had Alberto Del Rio come out and cut a promo talking about his rematch with John Cena, what he's going to do to him. Your basic heel promo. I think it set him up well. I think he represented himself probably better than he has on the mic in a really long time. It was a solid thing for him to go forward, keep him in the mind of the main event, which we're getting closer and closer to. The main event wrestling match of the night, surprisingly, talking about the Divas, was Summer Rae versus Natalya. Summer Rae put out an impressive match for only being her second match on WWE television. We've seen her pull out the stump puller. We've seen her pull out the Indian Deathlock. Natalya picks up the win. Summer Rae looked better losing to Natalya than she would have beating someone of a lesser caliber. A little bit of a wonky finish with Natalya again. I don't know if that's something they need to look into going forward. But it is what it is. And coming off of that, we have our final segment of the night, which is Randy Orton's celebration for his world title. We had the Authority come out, Stephanie, Triple H. All the roster was standing on the stage. The Shield was guarding the ring. They bring out Randy Orton. He starts doing his celebrating, which of course leads us to the Big Show. Big Show comes down, clears the ring except for Orton. Orton ends up getting knocked out by the Big Show. Then Big Show challenges Triple H. Stephanie seems to hold him back. Triple H never really gets into the ring. We go off the air with show standing strong, and the Authority getting some comeuppance. Overall, we had a I thought it was a really good show. I enjoyed it. The energy was there all the way through. It kept me excited all the way through. And we're going to go right into it. This is our ratings for the week. Now, being that this is a Halloween special, our ratings are a little bit different. We're still going to go 1 to 5, 1 being the worst, 5 being the best. But now, a Boogeyman's a 5, a Warlord's a 4, Kamala's a 3, 2 is a Jake the Snake Roberts, 1 is a Kane. Or actually, backwards, reverse that. 5 is Kane, 4 is Jake the Snake Roberts, 3 is Kamala, 2 is a Warlord, 1's a Boogeyman. I'm giving this a 5. I'm giving it a Kane all the way. Sorry about that, folks. I thought the show was excellent. I thought there was it advanced the storylines going forward. It ended storylines that needed to be ended at the pay-per-view. We have direction for John Cena. We have direction for CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, the Wyatt family, Randy Orton, Big Show. All your main characters have somewhere where they're going. The Shield has a little bit of tension. Maybe a split up or a breakup is coming soon. So there's all that factors going forward. We have new tag team contenders with the Real Americans. All in all, I thought it was a really good Monday Night Raw. One of the better ones of the year. Gave it a solid 5, giving it a Kane in honor of our Halloween special. But basically, that's all I have to say about that. My name is George, and this has been another episode of Heel Heat.